Hi, in this demo, we're going to configure this topology with IPv6. We're going to configure routers, hosts, and switches. Also, we're going to configure static routes between the two LANs through the WAN. So the WAN is given this network 1, the top LAN is given this network 2, and the lower LAN is given this network 3. All of them have the prefix 64. So let's start with the router. We need to configure the router. The router port to the top LAN is G001 and the router port to the WAN is G000. First step, in order to be able to work with IPv6, you must enable IPv6 on the routers. Routers do not come by default IPv6 enabled. So the very important first command you do, you go to conft and the command is IPv6 unicast routing. Now you can apply IPv6. If you try to apply any IPv6 address without this command, without enabling it, it's not going to work. Now we are ready. So let's start with the first port, GI001 for the top LAN. And you see the address is here. So let's just copy the address. And this is very common, copying things when it comes to IPv6, because usually the address is very long. So let's go here. And now we have router 0. Here's router 0. Interface GI001. IPv6 address, and I'll take a space. This is the address. Enter. No shut. That's it. So now we have assigned an IPv6 address to the port GI001 and enabled it. Let's do the same thing for the other port, which is the WAN port. And as you see here, the address is going to be this one, which is network 1. And for the second one is going to be number 2. So let me go now for the other port, interface GI000, IPv6, one word, address. And I'm going to paste the address here. And it is 11 and /64. Again, no shut. That's it. So we configured the two ports of the router after enabling IPv6. So now I'll go to the PC0. As you see, the address is 210, network 210. So I'll go to IPv6 here and I'll give it 210 and 64. The link local address is auto configured. You can give also the default gateway here to be 21. So now we configured the PC 64 and this is auto configured, and we also configured the default gateway. I'll go to the second laptop here, IPv6. I'll give the address, which is going to be 211. 64 is the, and here we give the default gateway. Let's test it. I'll go to the PC, try to ping the default gateway, ping, again paste. Okay, excellent, it's working fine. So devices in the same LAN can reach their default gateway. We later gonna configure the other things. Now let me go to the second lower router here. No. Okay. Repeat the same commands, enable conft. First thing to do, IPv6 unicast routing, that's it. So now let's look at the addresses. So we have 31 for the gateway, and we will do 310 and 11 for the other devices there. So now IPv6 address, and let us make sure the address is good here. 3:1/64. No. Okay. Oh, I need to use the interface first. Interface GI001. And now IPv6 address 31 and no shut. Good. Now I'll go to the PCs here. I'll give them 10, and here it's 310, and the prefix is in this box, and for the default gateway you can give it this address. So now for the second laptop here, I'm gonna go and give it the address 311.64, and the subnet mask is 3.1. Test it again from inside the second LAN here. Can we reach the default gateway? Let's try this. 3.1. Excellent, it's working and communicating with the default gateway. Now for the switches, this is 2960, and it needs some work. You need to update some features or enable some features on the switch. So let's go to CLI now. Enable conft, and this command is not something you are expected to know. Yani you usually are expected to be given. To enable IPv6 on this type of switches, we need to use a command called SDM. Look here, SDM, I put question mark. So after SDM, I have prefer. After question mark, after prefer, I have dual IPv4 and IPv6. This way, the switch is gonna support both IPv4 and IPv6. So now dual, and still one more thing, question mark, here, default. So by default, this device is gonna support IPv4 and IPv6. We are not done yet. There is one more step. So look at the command SDM. If you remember SDM, you can complete the command using the question marks. So dual, both of them, IPv4 and IPv6, and default. Don't forget default. So now this one might not be active until you reload. You must reload. So end, you go back to the privilege mode, copy run start to save the changes, and now reload. Once the switch reloads, you can apply IPv6. So the steps of getting 2960 switch is using the command SDM prefer dual whatever, IPv6 and IPv4 default, then save changes and reload. Now let me reload, confirm reload. So you need to wait until reload finishes. Then you're gonna apply IPv6 the same way you did with IPv4. Only the first command is gonna be different. Let's do this now. Enable conft interface VLAN 1. Now let's see, IPv6, is the command available? Yes, excellent. Without the SDM prefer dual default, this command is not going to be there. So IPv6 address for the VLAN, we need to copy it here. I'll just take this one here, and this is our switch. Paste. So let us give it 100 and /64. No shut. So now the VLAN address is also activated. IPv6 VLAN address is also activated. Let us repeat the same thing on the first switch quickly. Here, enable conft SDM question mark prefer question mark dual, and dual finally default. That's it. So now end, copy run start, and reload. You must wait until reload is done. We will do the same thing. We'll give an address within the first network 2, to the switch 0. Good, done, reloaded. So enable conft interface VLAN 1 IPv6 address. Let us just use any address now. I'll say 2100. It's network 2 100/64, and no shut. So now the switch is there. Let us try to ping the switch from laptop 0, for example, here. Okay, ping I'll do paste here. The switch is to 100 and the reply is successful, so the switch is reachable. Next, we need to configure static routes between network 2 and network 3 through the routers. We will do it the same way we did with IPv4. Just go to the router here. If you want to see the IPv6 routing table, show IPv6 route. Do you see here? You see many things here, but none of them is static. All of them are dynamic. So let us configure the route from network 2 to network 3. So conf t IPv6 route, we know this. Network 3, how we put network 3? So we just get the address of network 3 here, and be careful when you type it. Okay, paste 3 nothing /64. Okay, what to do with this? You can go to this network through the IP address of this port here, the port which is 12. So we will tell router 1, if anyone wants to go to network 3, this one, send him to this port. So let's complete the command, and the port address, let us do the port address here. The port address is 12. Be careful, 1:::2. So accepted. To make sure it's accepted, you go back, show IPv6 route to see the routing table, and here we see a static route to the lower LAN through this next hop. We'll do the same thing here. I would say IPv6 route to network 2, let's just modify it here, 2:::nothing /64. Okay, go through 11. If you look at it now, we will see it. 11 is gonna be this port. So let's finish this one here. We'll go 11. Accept it and show IPv6 route, and we have now a static route. So now, by the way, ping from anywhere to anywhere should be accepted. So let's see this one here, which is 310. Let us ping 210, which is should go through the WAN. So ping, paste. Okay, let's use 210 here, ::10. Excellent. It went through, and the static routes with IPv6 are working fine.